All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Sports Status Podcast show that, let's just say we were going to start a little bit earlier, but I'll let Cole tease on about that throughout the show.
Logan?
Okay, this is already going off to a great start.
Logan?
Wow.
Go throughout the day. Throughout the show, we're going to talk about how the past week was, and it was a crazy week all the way up. Talking about predictions, and we're going to be introducing a new segment into the show. I say a new segment to the show, but more like we're going to be doing this once in a while throughout the season, and that is the power rankings. And last but not least, giving our quick intakes on some college football teams as well. So, to start this off, very first game, Thursday night game in week 3, the Pittsburgh Steelers lost to Cleveland Browns, 29-17. And I'm not gonna lie, I should have seen this coming. They don't have a wide receiver. They don't have. How can a game manager quarterback manage the game ball if you don't have a wide receiver to throw it to? I've seen a lot of very awkward plays that Mitchell Trubisky made. And how are the receivers? It just wasn't there. It just wasn't there, to be honest with you. Now, Cole, you're the one that kept track of all these predictions and things like that everybody made. So I'll give this to you. Did you like anything out of this Pittsburgh team?
I didn't really care for it. I just didn't watch the game.
Huh.
All I care about is my boys.
Oh boy, here we go again. Oh boy.
Which one? Which one? The boys that can't seem to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road?
No,
or
the Cowboys.
The boys that will probably sit on the couch when it comes February comes around.
What did you say?
I said which one? The boys that sit on the couch when February comes around, or the boys that can't seem to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Nate, you shouldn't even be talking right now when the Broncos can't even make it to the playoffs themselves.
Oh,
so
you mean,
boys, sit down.
You mean the great value Broncos? Yes.
The Publix of the NFL.
Sponsored by Walmart. Save money, live better. And you know what else is sponsored by Walmart? It seems.
I don't know how this game ended up being a Broncos and Cowboys and Colts conversation.
Yeah, actually, you know what, Nate? I'm sorry, buddy. I'll just go ahead and let you.
No, it's funny. Anyway, Browns move on 2-1. Face in week 3 is the Atlanta Falcons, which I'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later on in the show. Logan, I'll give this to you. What are your takes on this game?
On the Browns game?
Browns
and
Steelers.
Let me tell you, it felt good. It felt good. For those of you who don't know or just don't give a shit, I saw the. Are we allowed to swear?
Mhm.
Okay,
You
perfect.
just can't say the F word.
All right, well, fantastic. So the Steelers came to Jacksonville in preseason and dealt a very disappointing loss to the Jaguars. And even though it's preseason and you're not supposed to care, I still care because I was sitting next to a whole bunch of Steelers fans with their terrible towels that carry Ebola. All right. And I had to witness all those terrible towels getting thrown in the air, all because we missed a single field goal. So let me tell you, I'm sorry, not the Chargers, Jesus, when the Browns came in and whooped some ass, boy, did it feel good. Yeah, and screw the Steelers. Let me just say that.
That we can all agree on.
Oh, I think we're all in agreement there.
DJ Watt, DJ game. The Steelers do not know how to win without him. Since he has been drafted.
The Steelers don't know how to win, period.
I mean, the Steelers have more Super Bowl victories than the Dallas Cowboys.
I disagree with that. You mean the same Pittsburgh Steelers team that went 8-8 with Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges? And I don't even know if I said his first name right. Startled me, Xander.
Okay, well, I don't know what's going on off screen over there.
You may want to. That is a blooper moment.
You know what else is a blooper moment? The fact that the Dallas Cowboys still exist as a professional NFL team.
Because we can ride without our starting quarterback.
Well, it turns out that Dak Prescott is extremely overrated. Turns out y'all didn't even need him.
Turns out we really needed Cooper Rush.
Turns out that you guys should get out of
Did I just hear that right?
Known as AT&T
What?
Stadium.
Did I just hear that right?
What?
You guys cannot. You guys really needed Cooper Rush.
Oh yeah,
I'm
Nate,
shaking my head.
Nate,
Yes.
Nate, you leave for 2 seconds, and this boy just talks about the Dallas Cowboys. Now, granted,
No, that was your fault.
Granted, this time I initiated it, but I'm just saying the Dallas Cowboys, Cole, are extremely overrated. Anyway, Nate, please continue.
Okay. Let's see the Dallas Cowboys stuff for the Dallas Cowboys stuff, and not for the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Buffalo.
Yeah, Logan.
Yeah, Cole.
Yeah, Logan.
Speaking of Buffalo Bills,
what in the world happened?
The Buffalo Bills had destroyed the Miami Dolphins in every single stat that you can think of. Even maybe destroying them in toes flunching. I don't know. Except for 2 things. Points and fumbles.
And Nate?
Oh, yeah, that beautiful butt fumble.
Butt fumble! Legendary meme.
Okay, but no. Because the butt fumble actually was against Miami. So, Miami had way too many. Buffalo lost control of the football by fumble way more times than Miami did. Miami just had the more embarrassing one.
God, that was such a legendary moment in NFL history.
And it's repeating itself.
Those cheeks were made of steel, my boy. Those cheeks were tight.
Speaking of Buffalo, would you like to go on that rant, Logan?
Not yet.
Okay, history may have repeated itself, but it's still not as embarrassing as Mark Sanchez's, what do you call that? Butt fumble?
Yep.
The butt fumble.
But the thing is, with
Because
the
one,
Dolphins, it
it
turned
was
into
more
a
of a butt
safety.
punt. Well, what? Okay, that's true. The Bills did score off of that. That's true. But Dolphins still won.
They were lucky.
The Jets, when they were playing against the New England Patriots, they didn't. They didn't win. They lost that game. Man, the things that happened in the AFC East.
The AFC is the biggest cluster.
Anyway, moving on. Well, actually, no, never mind. Buffalo goes on, and they go up and face. So Miami ended up winning that game, but it's really more Buffalo losing it. And you really saw the same thing. Miami's defense is not as good as people thought. You saw the same thing again against.
That last situation was the same.
Especially in the fourth quarter, yeah.
Miami got lucky with the same situation as the 49ers got lucky against the Cowboys last season. I'm just bringing up because those situations were very similar in the fourth quarter.
How?
No timeouts left on Buffalo. And they tried to move the ball as quickly as they could to try to reset the ball in order to get moving.
I see where you're going with.
Yes.
But
same scenario.
A little bit different. A little bit.
This man cannot stop talking about the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, because the situations are similar.
Another Cowboys conversation.
For real. Quite frankly, I would rather talk about a boot getting shoved up Cole's ass than talk about the Dallas Cowboys.
Let's shove a boot up your ass when I'm in Jacksonville.
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and continue with the sports. Go ahead, Nate.
Anyway, enough. I just scrolled up to week 2 stuff. Cincinnati Bengals. They go up. They went and faced the New York Jets. They won 27-12 was the final score on that one. And boy, I was wrong about Cincinnati. You know, something I realized. Who did the Cincinnati Bengals play against in week 1? TJ Watt. Same guy I told you about, that the Steelers do not know how to win without him. Who did the Cincinnati Bengals go up on that defense against in week 2? Again, I hate the direction I'm going with because I know what Cole's going to say after this.
We the boys.
But the Cowboys with Micah Parsons on that defense.
Nate, you just had to say it, didn't you,
buddy?
Hold on. Yeah. I'm going somewhere with this. Who did Cincinnati go up against in weeks 3 and 4? Nobody that was able to give pressure to the quarterback. The Jets weren't able to do that with their defense. And the Miami Dolphins, the fourth quarter didn't look like there were even Dolphins players on the field. So, Cincinnati won, and it looks like they were able to finally generate something together. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I will say one thing, though. Last year, there has not been one team that started off 0-2 and made the playoffs. And now there's 5 teams that were 1-2 heading into this year, and one of them is Cincinnati. It's not looking good for the team that just made the Super Bowl the previous year. Next week, they're up against Baltimore, a team that I had their defense on my fantasy roster until I got them last week. That's only because I picked up Denver. Cincinnati's not. I mean, Cincinnati, is it going to be the same Bengals offense I saw in week 1, especially, or maybe a little bit in week 2? Or is it going to be weeks 3 and week 4?
I think Cincinnati's going to go back to being Cincinnati.
That didn't answer my question.
In reference to that, I mean them just being their usual self, not making the playoffs.
I mean, I can see why, because the AFC is so stacked, but it would not shock me if they do. Unless it's the Texans and the New York Jets. I wouldn't be surprised if any of these AFC teams make it.
What would you do if the Jets make the playoffs? I'd buy a Jets jersey if they did.
I would laugh a lot. I really don't know how I would answer that question because I never thought about it and answer that question.
Jets, Jets suck.
I mean, you're not wrong. All right, next up. Wait, Logan, now you seem to be a little bit of quiet in this segment. What are your thoughts? Give me your thoughts on this Cincinnati Bengals New York Jets game.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think anyone who didn't see this coming is blind, basically. Stevie Wonder could have seen this coming a mile away. Not just my opinion.
So you're calling me blind?
I mean, you called yourself blind. I didn't use those words, Nate. You put those words into my mouth.
I said that because of the New York Jets' performance the previous week. Joe Flacco was playing in that game.
Right.
And I said that the Jets were going to win because Joe Flacco played in the AFC.
Right.
And they had a really good game against the Cleveland Browns the previous week.
Right.
So, the Jets had 4 weeks that they could still are doing playing against an AFC North opponent next week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so I thought you were going to see something similar.
Well, so I think in order for the Jets to really get back to their just mediocre form that they're usually at, they need Mr. Steal Your Mom to come back.
Zach Wilson. No, to steal your mom's best friend.
Mr. Steal Your Mom's best friend. Once he comes back, man, the Jets are going to be back to their mediocre self.
Mr. Best Friend Sleeper.
But in the meantime, if I could just get a second without interruption from the Dallas Cowgirl fan. I think once Zach Wilson comes back, I think the Jets are going to be more of a opponent, I think. But honestly, you got to remember, the Bengals still have a lot of, the same guys that they had, when they were surprising everyone at the Super Bowl. We didn't think they would go that far. I don't think anyone expected it, right?
No, I did.
And honestly, I think the Bengals, now that they are over their Super Bowl hangover, as a lot of people say, I think they got to improve some key components, namely their line. The offensive line, I still see that's needing a lot of work. But I think the Bengals are a serious threat.
Okay, so Logan, I think you missed last week's show, so I'm going to tell you the same analogy I told Cole.
Yeah.
The Cincinnati Bengals offensive line had one really good opponent. One really good addition. The rest just looks like they grabbed a piece of raw meat out of a grocery store
and tossed them leftovers.
Well, yeah, but that's not where I actually was going. And what I was going to say is they grabbed a piece of raw meat out of a grocery store and decided they wanted to go eat it without cooking it first. Because that's how terrible it was.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Like the Bengals offensive line kind of reminds me of those turnstiles you see at the theme parks. Just kind of move right through with little opposition whatsoever. You know. Now, granted, I'm a bigger feller, so those turnstiles provide a little more resistance to me, but I still find a way in. You know.
The only thing you can resist are riding roller coasters and taking the walk of shame.
Buddy, look, that you're not funny, okay?
Because it's true.
You're not funny.
Okay. Next one was a complete shocker for me. The Tennessee Titans. They ended up beating the Las Vegas Raiders 24-22. Battle of the teams that were 0-3. Josh McDaniels, just like in Denver, was not a very good start. And to be honest with you, I'm just going to say one thing. The way that I see this going, I wouldn't be surprised if every single AFC West head coach got fired because it's fired this year except for Andy Reid for the Kansas City Chiefs. And the guys that come in to replace them, I haven't figured out where to put them yet. But the guys that I think are going to come in and replace them are Rick Bisaccia, former Raiders head coach. I'm forgetting current Chiefs offensive coordinator, and I'm forgetting his name. I don't know why. Just blanked on me. And then former New Orleans Saints head coach Sean Payton. I think one of those three. It maybe Denver Broncos get Sean Payton, the Raiders get the head coach that I've seen forgetting his name, and Rick Bisaccia goes to the Chargers. Somewhere right there, because let's just say that Josh McDaniels, just like in Denver, he's not a good head coach. He's much better at he's much better at a completely different coaching position as offensive coordinator. Tennessee Titans won, which basically puts the Raiders in so much trouble. That being said, actually, I'll save it for later. Cole?
Right.
Yeah, I'm alive.
Okay, what are your takes on this Raiders team or this Titans team?
I think
or both.
I think the Titans are going to the Tank Bowl. It's basically a matchup of teams that suck.
Titans just won. But you still think they're going to be that bad?
I think they're that bad. And it proved these last couple of games.
Well, I mean, they don't. I think losing A.J. Brown just hurt them a lot.
And it's proving the show.
Yeah, and that or. I mean, that's
that order defense just can't really do anything.
That's the only really thing I could say.
Just remove the Titans O-line off the field, and that's what you have.
Huh. That's true.
Because all you have is Derrick Henry.
Yeah, Derrick. I don't. There's one other person I would disagree with, sort of. I don't, and that's Ryan Tannehill. I don't think he is elite, but I wouldn't say he's terrible. Now,
kind of like Logan's Jaguars.
I mean, you're not wrong, but so
where'd he go, anyways?
I'm right here.
Logan, now one of these two teams in this game, Raiders and Titans, does play in your division. So, Logan, I'll give it to you. What are your thoughts on this Titans team so far? They play the Colts next week, but sooner or later they're going to play the Jacksonville Jaguars. And since they're in your division, they'll play them twice.
Right. Honestly, I don't know where to put the Titans. I know where I put them on my ranking here, but I'm just not 100% sure on them. It seems like they have, it seems like they have the potential. Yeah, you seen them, beat the Raiders, and that's pretty much it.
They didn't do much earlier.
I don't think they'll do much this season compared to a team like Jacksonville.
And you know what? It's kind of surprising because in years past, the Titans were the team to beat in the AFC South.
I mean,
but now they're just Medicore.
Especially in 27. Well, I think it was 2017, 28. No, 2019. I think when they went all the way up to the AFC Conference Championship.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm still kind of in the mode that the Titans are the team to beat in the AFC South. I don't think it's true anymore. And we'll get to that in a little while. But I don't think the Titans, I mean, I think I'm a little more scared of the Texans than I am of the Titans. And that's saying something.
Yeah, that is saying something. Now, one last thing I will say before we move on to the next game. The Tennessee Titans, the Arizona Cardinals, and the Los Angeles Chargers have two things. All three of these teams have two things in common. One, they all beat the Raiders. And two, they couldn't beat anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Every team that the Raiders have gone has not gotten a win so far this season, except against the Raiders. That's just telling you that it's the coaching staff.
Maybe they're like, I secured the bag. I'm going to be lazy.
I'm not putting any blame on anyone, except, well, maybe a little bit of defense. But I'm not putting any blame on anyone except the coaching staff.
Yeah, that's fair. That's definitely fair.
Next week, okay, so the next game to talk about for week 3 is New Orleans Saints versus the Carolina Panthers. I won't be able to say this much for this show, but this is the only game that I was 100%. I was alone on this pick, but I got it right. New Orleans Saints lost to the Carolina Panthers 22-14.
Saints, you blew it.
I think this has to go a little bit with coaching as well. But Jameis Winston is very inconsistent.
That's because he's Mr. Interception Winston, as we know him by.
Well, but did he? Oh yeah, Jameis had 2 interceptions. Never mind about what it was.
Told you.
That's
why he's named Mr. Interception Winston.
Yeah,
Logan, I don't know how you feel about that.
I don't know if it's my turn to talk necessarily, but
one last thing I'm saying, but I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to the both of you.
Yeah,
Matt Rule is just not good, and I know they gave a win, and it's kind of funny how both the guys that I said that are, I think it's kind of funny that both guys I said are probably going to get fired mid-season ended up picking a W this week. but I'm still going with what I'm going with. I think you're really. This game probably saved Matt Rule for a little bit longer, but not too much longer. Before this, the Carolina Panthers were 0-9. Logan, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I don't know. This one kind of surprised me. Maybe it's because I haven't seen the Panthers in a little while. They're a team I don't really care about, if we're being honest. But
Nobody cares about the Panthers.
it was to my understanding that they were a team still trying to find an identity. They didn't know who was going to be starting where for the most part. The coaching staff, like I think Nate was covering this briefly, was a disaster for the Panthers too. And I look, it comes down to Jameis Winston. I think if the Saints want to move in, what the hell? If the Saints ever want to, go deep into the playoffs, dude, they need to get rid. They need to have Jameis Winston move in. No, they need to move out. Move on. Can you guys tell I'm tired, man? They need to move on from Jameis Winston, dude.
They really do.
Winston is a good backup quarterback, but they need some.
But he's a choke artist. Is the issue,
and that's fair. Absolutely fair.
Kind of like the Atlanta Falcons.
Just in general.
Yes.
They should move in with the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, speaking of Atlanta, this may come as a surprise to y'all.
Hey, wait a minute. Let's follow the agenda,
All
sir.
right, sir.
Next up is Baltimore Ravens against the New England Patriots. Baltimore ended up with a W, 37-26. Again, New England doesn't really have much. They do have Bill. They do have Bill Belichick still, and he's.
But you don't have Tom Brady.
No, doesn't have Tom Brady. You have Mac. Oh, never mind. He's hurt.
Yep.
But I have one take about this. Mac Jones goes down. He's hurt, and he was put on a question as a questionable player earlier throughout the week. Notice that there's a couple of players that they was ruled out as hurt heading into week 5 after you see what happened with Tua Tagovailoa. Mac Jones was one of them. The day after, he has been ruled out. Jameis Winston, the day after, he has been ruled out. Michael Thomas has been ruled out. I think with both the Saints and the New England Patriots, they don't want to make the same mistake that Miami did, which ended up getting them Miami medical chief of medical that made all these questionable decisions. He ended up getting fired for this. But I think that this story is going to continue. I think you're going to see more people from Miami either are probably going to get in a lot of trouble sometime throughout this week. But as for New England, this was a lot more competitive than I thought. But Baltimore still ended up pulling out with the win, and it was a close game until it wasn't. That's where I see this. Cole, what are your takes on this?
The Baltimore versus New England game?
Yeah.
Honestly, I expected Baltimore to win. I just didn't expect it to be that bad.
I mean, it was close until
No,
it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. 37-26. That was not close at all.
No. It was close until it wasn't. I say that because it was competitive back and forth throughout the first half. Really, the third quarter is really when you started to see a difference.
That's what she said.
Oh my gosh.
What are your thoughts, Logan?
You know, the only thing that really surprised me about that game is how close it was. When Mac Jones goes down for injury, you're depending on Brian Hoyer, I think, right? He's the backup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're relying on Brian Hoyer. And the question just popped into my head, is this going to be a massacre or a bloody massacre?
It was a massacre, but it wasn't.
And for some reason, it was still closer than I expected. Yeah, dude. I don't know. Growing up as a Patriots fan, I'm almost saddened to see the current state of the Patriots. I mean, you have Bill Belichick still coaching for some reason.
The Patriots.
Okay, thank you, Cole, for that wonderful contribution. But you have Bill Belichick still over there for some reason. I thought dude would just quit by now.
Or retire at least.
Or retire. I mean, what else does he have to prove?
Nothing.
Right? I mean, they were the dynasty, dude. They were
think.
They're like the Golden State Warriors of the NFL.
I think to answer your question, I think he wants to prove that he can win without Tom Brady.
But he can't.
And I think that's the reason. I know. I agree with you. But I think that's the reason he's still in the league.
Because he sounds stubborn.
It's stupid.
No, I'm not going to call Bill Belichick stupid because I respect the hell out of him. He's still one of the best coaches.
You can take my respect for him up your ass.
Ooh, okay.
Because they fucking cheat. Oh, sorry, Nate. That slipped. I apologize.
Still a hell of a lot better than Couch Mike McCarthy, okay?
I apologize about that, Nate. That slipped.
Nate, so I'll go ahead and let you continue because I gotta go beat the crap out of Cole right quick.
Actually, I want to hear your thoughts on this. Oh, wait, no, never mind. Cole, you already just spoke about this.
Yeah.
Next up on the schedule for week 3 was the Detroit Lions versus the Minnesota Vikings on this one. And like I've been saying, Minnesota does not do well in primetime. Detroit knows how to score. Minnesota, however, wasn't in primetime this week. And I'm looking at the standings right now for the NFC North. Do you know that Detroit Lions are the only team without a winning record in the NFC North right now? I get that there was only 3 weeks heading into this, but Detroit has 95 points. That's just to prove you they can score. The closest is the Vikings with 58. That's 40 points less than that, somewhere around there. That's the main number. And their last place, they have a losing record because they've given up 93 points. They need to fix up that defensive side of the ball, and I've been saying this before the season started. Logan.
I want the Lions to win so badly.
Me too.
Honestly,
if the Lions wins, do we all buy a Jared Goff jersey?
Dude, if the Lions win, if the Lions win, I will buy everybody on this podcast a Jared Goff jersey.
Guess
All right. If
who
they make it
Detroit
to the
plays
playoffs, they're
next
buying
week.
all of us a Jared Goff
Guess
jersey.
who Detroit plays next week?
Who?
New England
Yay!
Patriots.
Yay!
No, that's not this week though. They play Seattle this week. Next week they
Yay!
play New England.
And
Just
you
the
know the
enthusiasm of. We actually had a Lions player fully that came by and showed some of the older highlights he was in, and it was really cool.
and the crazy thing is, I could see the Lions beating the Patriots.
I honestly seen him beating them no matter what.
I wouldn't be surprised about that either.
Because
Now-
the Lions have a good team this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like just like another team that I am very vocal about supporting.
Which also suck.
I will be very reluctant. I will be very cautiously supportive. I'm not trying to, put all my eggs in one basket per se, but I'll be very glad if they do win.
Oh, gosh. All right. Next up on the schedule for week 3 is the Philadelphia Eagles against the Washington Commanders. Philadelphia ended up with the win 24-8.
Can we just say Philadelphia is unstoppable right now?
Yeah.
I was not expecting
team
that.
left. I kind of was.
That Philly special, though.
But now, I do see a weak side, though, to this team. They put all of their points in this Washington Commanders game. All of their points came out from their second quarter. And 1 week earlier, against the Minnesota Vikings, they scored in the first and second quarter. None in the third and the fourth. Now, 1 week earlier, Detroit and Philly. Okay, yeah, they scored 14. Philadelphia scored 14 points in the third. Okay, yeah, I get that. But what happened in the fourth quarter? 0. Yes, they may be 3-0, but they have not scored a touchdown in the second half of the game in every single game except for the Detroit Lions game. And even with the Detroit Lions game, they didn't even score in the fourth. So I guess what I'm trying to say is the key to winning this game is the key to beating the Philadelphia Eagles is how much points can you put up in the second half. And the key to Philadelphia to continue to win is to be able to score in the second half.
Oh yeah. No,
So
I agree.
yeah. Logan, I'm gonna give this to you. What's your take on this Eagles and Commanders game?
Oh man, the Commanders I thought looked like a good team at some point. In other words, week 1. I thought the Commanders looked like a decent team. And
They are a decent team, don't get me
and
wrong.
they're a decent team, but dude, when you're facing literally the best team in the NFL,
I don't think they're the best team in the NFL.
really, the Philadelphia Eagles are not
I consider the
best team in
Dolphins the best team in the NFL.
They were.
No, I disagree with both of you.
Who do you think is the best team?
Buffalo. I don't even think it's close.
But the Finns beat Buffalo.
Okay, true. No, actually, it's not true. Bills lost. But Dolphins didn't win. The Bills lost.
But they
kind of beat
technically won.
themselves. They beat themselves.
The Bills beat themselves to a pulp, essentially.
That's true.
And they had poor game management.
Anyway,
If the Bills had one timeout left, they would have been able to get that field goal.
they should have spiked that. And I get, okay,
They should have caked it instead of resetting it.
I see how Buffalo could win. I mean, Buffalo could lose games, but I still think those teams are the best in the NFL. I think they're going to be on the Super Bowl, and I think they're going to beat some NFC team. And
Is Nate a Bills fan?
What?
Is Nate a Bills fan now?
No,
Time to tell everybody in ASAP.
I am not a Bills fan, but I do think they're going to win the Super Bowl. I don't see how they can't lose it. Wait, I just said that wrong. I don't see how they can lose.
You might want to read ASAP.
Oh, Lord. Anyway.
Okay, going back to the Philadelphia Eagles and watching the Commanders game. I don't even know who was speaking. Oh wait, it was Logan.
Yeah, Logan, what are your thoughts?
It was me. Yeah, it's no surprise to me that the Eagles won. I kind of saw that coming.
I think everybody got the Eagles winning.
Pretty much.
There are like 5 really good NFL teams that are the best in the league, which I will put on my power rankings.
Next, okay, let's go on to this next game. Indianapolis Colts versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Colts ended up with the W. Cole, I'm going to give this to you first because that's actually your team, unlike you think.
No, my boys are my team. I'm wearing a Cowboys.
Oh, but you bought yourself a Colts jersey.
Yes.
I see how it is.
I'll be honest here. I did not expect the Colts to get that last-minute interception like that. Can we talk about that? Chiefs had the ball. They were just basically starting to move it, and I was like, oh no, the Chiefs are going to win. They have a chance to score a field goal. Then out comes one of the Colts defenders, out of nowhere, intercepting it, thus ending the game. Now that was a game. What do you think of that, Nate?
Yeah, I'm kind of happy about this game, and I'm happy about this game because they beat the Kansas City Chiefs.
An upset.
But it's how they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. They put pressure on the Chiefs' offensive line. The wide receivers are completely different. I guess what I'm trying to say. They put pressure on that offense. Something that Denver has the capability to do. They're one of 4 teams in the NFL that hasn't allowed a team to score more than 20 points this entire season. So, how the Colts win is I'm really happy about because I have a feeling that Denver might be doing the exact same thing. Because they've been doing that for the first 3 weeks. Logan?
Yeah, boy, this one caught me off guard. I will give a hell of a lot of credit to the Colts. I mean, after week 2, I don't think anybody saw much of them. Especially just being shut out. in Jacksonville. I'm sure Cole remembers that.
Pain.
And the thing is that I didn't really expect much of the Colts after that. But I mean, they came in clutch. Just good job. That's all
And
I
I
got.
have an attention span of a goldfish over here.
Yeah, I think I am too. Because I've seen in the private chat you spamming Colts. You're over here saying that you're not a Colts fan.
I like the Colts, don't get me wrong, but the Cowboys are my favorite.
Uh-huh. Sure they are.
We them boys.
This man can't figure out which team.
The Cowboys I've been a fan of for a long time. They were the first NFL team I actually became a fan of.
Okay. Anyway, I'm not going to say much on this next game. It's the Chicago Bears versus the Houston Texans. I think it's kind of funny.
That was surprising.
No, I didn't think it was going to be surprising, but no. All I'm going to say is everything that went down in this game that I thought was going to happen in this game happened, except that the Bears won over the Texans. Oh, wait. Never mind. I saw that coming too. Even though I picked the Texans, it was because the Texans won the coin flip.
You got lucky.
No, I didn't. Bears won. I picked the Texans because the Texans won the coin flip. My coin flip. Either one of you two have anything to say on this?
Nope.
Yeah, no, that was Tank Bowl.
Speaking of Tank Bowl, dang. The Los Angeles Chargers. Dang.
I lost money on that game.
I should have just went with my gut. Because I think I picked the Chargers in this game as overtime because the Chargers won the coin flip. My head was telling me one thing, my gut was telling me another. I keep hearing Cole over and over in the background, the last show saying, pick one. And I'm like, okay, Echo, who heads or tails? And they went with heads.
Hey,
so
Alexa.
I picked the Chargers.
Alexa, can you hear me?
No, let's don't do it now.
Damn it.
Let's don't do it now. That was
Alexa.
okay. Los Angeles Rams versus.
Wait a minute.
I'm kidding. Logan, I should probably give you a big screen, huh?
Yeah, you should.
You already know how I feel about this game, ladies and gentlemen. AFC Player of the Week, Trevor Lawrence.
Nah. Offensive player? Sure. Defense player of the week for the AFC? Nah.
No, they said offensive player of the week, and I totally agree with that.
Oh, you said offensive player of the week. I thought you said AFC player of the week.
I totally disagree with it.
I think it was offensive player of the week. Yeah.
Yeah.
And damn it, do I agree with that ranking. It's about time. Trevor Lawrence finally feels confident throwing the ball. He's not getting sacked like he used to. I feel like, I'm not trying to jinx it, but finally, that team is playing like together. Everybody's playing in sync. Trevor Lawrence is getting the ball off quickly. James Robinson's clicking. Last year, Urban Meyer wouldn't even let James Robinson touch the ball, it seems. This year, they're finally clicking. And I couldn't be more happy about it.
I should have gone with my gut. Oh, I'm so mad at myself for this game.
I'm so mad at myself that I picked the opposite team, which lost me money, by the way, and I'm still unhappy about.
I think it has to do with the coach. I seriously think it has to do with the coach of the Chargers.
What do you mean?
I don't think that. And I'm noticing it more last year with some of the more obvious decisions. One that caused the Chargers to make just some bad calls, like taking a timeout while the clock is going, and so they would have to do more than just kick a field goal to win the game. But I seriously think that this might. I don't know. I just feel like the Chargers, this is going to be just bad year for the Chargers. Bad year for both the Chargers and the Colts.
So,
Not Chargers and
Philip
Raiders.
Rivers is being
Raiders.
Philip Rivers. I mean, no. Justin Herbert. Yeah, Justin Herbert. Yeah. Keep forgetting Rivers retired.
Okay. Now let's move on. Los Angeles Rams, they ended up with the win. And I had the Cardinals in an upset pick. Dang. I was off by 9 points. Rams won 20-12. I think it was more. This had to do more of recognizing what mistakes they made what mistakes the Rams made last week to allow Atlanta to even have this deficit to come back from. Rams ended up beating Arizona, and it's really just not looking good for the Cardinals.
yeah, you couldn't be more right on that, sir.
Yeah, you couldn't. The Cardinals just don't look like their usual selves.
You know, last year the Cardinals looked like a legitimate threat?
But now they're not.
I think two things I think there's two differences. One, the Cardinals don't have Diop because he's suspended. Two, I think again has to go with the coach.
Yep. And honestly, again, this is kind of disappointing to see the Cardinals like this because last year,
They're
legitimately,
one of the best franchises in the league.
last year they were headed to the Super Bowl basically until they weren't.
And now they blew it.
Yep. Again, very disappointing to see.
All right. What game should we move on to now? Should we talk about Green Bay versus Seattle while we wait on? Green Bay versus Tampa while we wait on Nate.
No, I didn't even notice that Nate left. Okay.
Yeah, it said I need to use the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we'll talk about the Packers versus the Buccaneers. What do you think about that game, Logan?
I'm still kind of shocked. I ain't gonna lie to you. And Tom Brady, dude. Tom Brady needs to
just honestly go.
He needs to head on out, man.
Do it Antonio Brown style and get off the field.
And of course, it doesn't help the fact that he just does not have the weapons that he did in the past. But quite frankly,
he does have some good weapons.
Yeah. Honestly, dude, Tom just kind of looks like a shell of his former self. And honestly, I would have rather seen him go out on top than see this version of him. You know,
Yeah, most definitely.
I mean, yeah, the fact is, like, we were talking about tank bowls earlier, but this game,
It felt like more of a tank bowl.
this game was a retirement home game.
Yeah.
I know what game you're talking about, actually.
Yeah, we were actually just talking about it. You know which one we were talking about, Nate?
Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the
Yes, sir.
Panthers.
Yep.
Dude,
This
like I
game
said,
was very ugly, but I think Cole, you and I actually kind of said that we figured this game was going to be ugly. There was this conversation going on in the chat when somebody in the comment section was listening. Oh, I think it was John Suggs. He said that listed all the receivers that Tom Brady was not going to have. They had to use guys like Cole Beasley. They had to use guys like that's the only one I actually can name off the top of my head. It looks like they just pulled a plant out of a ground and just said, "Hey, you're going to be my wide receiver."
yeah, that's pretty much how it went. I mean, dude, it doesn't help that the previous week, everybody on the Buccaneers, including Tom, just got into a freaking fight, man. Like, they were.
I think Tom Brady needs to go to a retirement home.
And honestly, I agree. I was just saying before Nate got back, I would have rather seen Tom go out on top than just the shell of him former self.
You know who actually what this reminds me of, and I know I'm getting a little bit off topic, but you know what this reminds me of? I was reading a story a while back where this happened over in college football.
We're gonna have to speed things up. By the way, we're already on an hour.
I'm just gonna make this quick. This happened back in college football, and it happened back in the 1900s. There was Georgia State ended up with a W over this unknown school that I don't even know if it still exists. 222-0. Apparently, this unknown school decided that they were so much in financial debt that they decided to completely get rid of their football team. But because of NCAA programming, this game was already scheduled. So, because this team really didn't have a lot of, they didn't have an actual football team. They just pulled out some of the students from classes and decided, hey, you're gonna go ahead and play football for this week. And 222 points later, all by one team. You know how that happened. And to be honest, I kind of felt like this is what exactly went down. All right, again, let's just speed this up real quick. Next game is Falcons versus Seahawks.
Can we talk about the Falcons not blowing a lead, my guys?
Yeah, but they played Seattle.
True, but even then, they didn't blow a lead.
And I, of course, I can't be the one saying that because the one loss never lost to 64-yard field goal. Logan, do you have anything to say?
No, not really. Besides the fact that holy shit, the Falcons didn't choke.
I think that's what we're all saying.
Yeah, pretty much.
San Francisco 49ers versus the Denver Broncos. This game had so many silly decisions. That
Denver still won it, though.
Denver still won it, but I'm not even talking about just Denver. There were just so many bad decisions that led down into third down play calls. It ended up in 2 punts. And the fact is, Denver still won, and that's only because of a silly play call made by Jimmy Garoppolo, which basically he went backwards into the white territory. He gave himself a safety. He gave the Denver Broncos a safety because he decided he wanted to back up way too much. Silly decision by him.
Wait a minute.
Silly decision.
Now wait a minute.
Silly decision.
Now, you're not being fair to Jimmy Garoppolo. All right.
Jimmy G's old, just like Tom Brady. He needs to retire.
Actually, he is not that old.
Hold on.
I'll show you something old.
Okay, let's get Logan's thoughts on this.
Now, see, here's the thing. We're not giving Jimmy Garoppolo enough credit. He knew he was going to throw a pick six, so he backed up to only, cost 2 points instead of 6 points. You're not giving enough credit to Jimmy Garoppolo. He has big brain. He has big brain.
You're right that he did save himself there, but I don't think he even realized he was doing it.
That's what he wants you to think.
Because he threw the ball after he passed the white mark. That's why I don't think he realized he was doing what he was doing. All right, this is probably going to take forever, but next game, Monday Night Football game. Actually, I saw a little bit of it, just like a few plays of it. At work, Cowboys ended up beating the New York Giants 23-16. Cole, I'm going to give it to you.
Oh, boy. We them boys. I know everyone in the chat here picked the Giants. But come on now, guys. You're really going to do that to Dallas? Like, come on now. The Dallas Cowboys are one of the most underrated teams right now, especially without Dak Prescott. Because Cooper Rush is doing his thing. Seriously, 215 passing yards. That's just amazing, honestly. And 0 interceptions. I'm just checking his stats right now.
I'm going to be 100% honest with you.
0 interceptions. Come on now. That's pretty good.
If Dallas did not have Micah Parsons in their backfield, they wouldn't have gotten either one of those 2 wins. In fact, I would put them dead last in my rankings.
The Dallas Cowboys are one of the best teams in the league now. And they're proving it without Dak. I've been saying this for a while now. I think we don't need Dak. We need Rush.
Okay, next week. You might be right about next week. You might not need Dak Prescott to win next week. I'll give that to you.
We them boys.
Y'all play the Commanders. Look at who Dallas plays the week after. The Los Angeles Rams. You're lucky that this is not going to be a primetime game. What you're not lucky about is that this is not a 10 o'clock game. You're going to have a lot of ice on sitting on there, especially since the Dallas Cowboys are the most popular team in the NFL. They should be, but they are.
Because we them boys.
Cowboys are going to be embarrassed. I'm just going to say that now. All right. Now this leads to the last game before we get on to the next segment.
Logan, what are your thoughts?
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
How about the Cowboys?
Look, the Cowboys are proving me wrong, and I don't like it.
Yay!
So let's just go ahead and move on to the
They're
next.
not proving me wrong though. I'll go on to this next one here.
Good old
And
satisfaction.
those are the watching the show. Just ignore the ASAP chat right now. Let's go on to the next one. Miami Dolphins. They're
No,
playing
read
against.
it. I encourage you to read it.
Don't. Miami Dolphins are going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, they already did. And I thought the Cincinnati Bengals were going to destroy them. I said that if Miami Dolphins actually were, if there was a 2-touchdown difference or less, if there was a 14-point difference or less, I would be impressed by Miami. And to be honest with you, kind of, I was until I wasn't.
I'm already impressed with Miami.
I was impressed until the fourth quarter because of the fourth quarter is what happened. What happened in the fourth quarter is why I thought they were going to lose the game. I thought it was going to be all 4 quarters. I was wrong. It was just one.
I'll show
But it
you
was
what you're
enough to
wrong
prove my
about.
point. Miami is just not that good. Especially their defense is not that good. They have a great wide receiving core. It's the only thing I can really say about them. Teddy Bridgewater, good backup. But I just said he's a good backup.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Teddy Bridgewater is a very solid backup. Wouldn't say he should be starting by any means, but
And the only reason I didn't even mention Teddy Bridgewater's name is because Tua wants to play the Kevin Durant card.
What do you mean by the Kevin Durant card?
Golden State Warriors 2019. Kevin Durant got hurt in the Rocket series, and came back without being medically cleared. And he says he's fine. And then he gets hurt, and it basically knocks Kevin Durant out for the entire season next season for 2020.
Basically victim card.
I mean, it might have gone a little bit differently, but based off of what you saw in the game, you wouldn't be able to tell unless you read some of the reports.
Hey, Nate, I think we're gonna have to do the picks. We're gonna have to do the
let's
picks.
just go through the picks like real fast.
All right.
are we skipping power rankings tonight?
Yes, we'll do that another time. Okay, I got the schedule pulled up. Miami versus Cincinnati. No, wait, that was last week. Hold on. Oh, wait, that was this week. Yeah. Minnesota versus New Orleans. Who do you got?
I got the Vikings.
I got Minnesota as well.
Actually, never mind. I got Vikings. I keep going back and forth on this, but I got Vikings.
Yeah, I got Vikings.
Cleveland versus Atlanta. I'm going with Atlanta.
Cleveland.
I'm going Cleveland.
Nate?
I just told you I'm going with Cleveland.
He's going with Cleveland. What's next?
All right. Washington versus Dallas. I'm going with Dallas.
I'm too.
Hate to say it, but Dallas.
We them boys. Seattle versus Detroit. I'm going with Detroit.
I am too.
Yeah. I'm going with Seattle.
Indianapolis versus Tennessee. I'm going with Indianapolis.
I am as well.
Yep. Colts.
Chicago versus New York. I'm going with Chicago.
Wait, which New York?
Giants.
Giants.
Giants. Okay. Yeah, no, I'll go with the Giants, dude.
This game, I feel like could go back and forth, but I'm actually gonna pick the
Jacksonville.
Giants. Giants.
Jacksonville versus Philadelphia. I'm going with Jacksonville.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Can I go last on this one?
Actually, let me just say one thing. Giants win or tie.
I'm easily going with Jacksonville.
I'm going with Jacksonville too. And I'm only saying that because of what I said about the second half.
What about you, Logan?
This one, it's hard to say because
You're hard to say.
Dude, you already know I'm going for Jacksonville. But here's the thing. Philly is not going to be easy. Absolutely not. If the Jaguars were to win this game, it's going to be a statement victory. Meaning, if the Jaguars win this one, dude, Jaguars are going to be, throwing caution to the wind if they win this one. That'll be a statement to the rest of the NFL that for once in a very long time, the Jaguars look legit.
And the Jaguars are going to the playoffs.
I can see it. That's something that I need to see more.
Do y'all agree with me that this would be a statement win?
Yeah.
We agree. Most definitely. Sorry, I'm also trying to order McDonald's.
Okay. 11 o'clock at night. Okay.
Yep.
That's interesting. All right. What's next?
All right. New York Jets versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going with the Jets.
I am as well.
I really
I'm
want the
only
Jets
saying
to
that-
win at this point.
I am saying that because TJ Watt is not. I don't think he's going to be playing this game. So I'm just going to say if TJ Watt's playing, I'm going with Steelers. Depends on how healthy he is. But if TJ Watt's not playing, I'm going with the Jets.
My turn, huh? It's gonna. This one's gonna. Yeah, it's gonna come down to injury. It's gonna, who's ready to play, who's not. I think the Steelers have an advantage for sure, but this is gonna be a close game.
All right. Buffalo versus Baltimore. I'm going with Buffalo.
Buffalo's about to lose.
Sure.
My gut is telling me that Baltimore is going to have the lead throughout most of this game, but Bills score last second touchdown.
Yeah, I think Lamar Jackson, man, he's a beast of a guy. I think he's about to pull off a bit of an upset.
All right. Los Angeles Chargers versus the Houston Texans. I'm going to go with the Texans.
I'm picking the
What?
Texans too. I am
What?
too.
Are y'all kidding me right now?
No, we're not, you bitch.
Go home. You both are drunk.
I wish I was drunk right now, but unfortunately, I'm not.
Yeah, go home. You're drunk.
I am home.
Dude, the Chargers, man. After getting absolutely dunked on by the Jaguars,
I'm going with the Texans for that reason.
the Chargers are angry.
You're
And
angry.
I can see your point, actually.
But
This
I
is a
think
toss up, but
I think Herbert's just going to be Herbert again.
Herbert the pervert.
Yep. Herbert from Family Guy.
No, dude, the Chargers are angry, and they are looking.
I'm going to take it back. I'm going to go with the Chargers. I think this is a double revenge game. I say this for two reasons. Remember, Texans actually ended up with the win last year. And I think they might have that on their minds.
They're going to be pissed off when they walk on that field.
And I think they have two things going on. One, they just lost by 28 points the previous week. Two, they lost badly to the Texans last time these two teams played. I don't think they want to do that again. I got the Chargers in this one. Something's telling me that this might not be that close.
Yeah, no, the Chargers are looking for blood, my guys.
I think you're right. I didn't think so at first, but I think you're right. All right, what's next?
Arizona versus Carolina. I'm going to go with the Panthers.
I don't think they're going to win 2 weeks in a row.
I'm looking at the cards on this one.
I got the Cardinals too.
I'll show you a Cardinal.
I don't really like Matt Rule, but I got to go with Cardinals.
Logan, did you get my reference?
Let's just move on. Who's next?
New England versus Green Bay. I'm going to go with the Packers.
Go Pack, go.
I'm going with Packers as well.
Denver versus Las Vegas. I'm going with Las Vegas.
I think Denver should win this game on paper, but I'm picking the Raiders as well. And that is because I don't want to make the same thing with make the same mistake the Chargers and the Chargers Jaguars game. I don't want to make that same mistake again. And two, separate the exception of week 1, I've gotten every single Raiders game so far. Granted, it's only 2, but anyway, I'm picking the Raiders. I know it might be surprised because I'm a Broncos fan, but gut's telling me to pick the Raiders.
All right, the last 2 games. Kansas City Chiefs versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I am going with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, this one's going to be very easy for me to pick. Chiefs all the way.
I'm going with the Chiefs too.
Good boy.
Yeah, that one's not difficult.
Los Angeles Rams versus the San Francisco 49ers. I am going to go with the Rams.
I'm going with San Francisco. Because the Rams do not know how to beat the 49ers in a regular season game.
It looks like I'm the tiebreaker.
I'll show you a tiebreaker.
And I think we're looking at a Rams W.
I'll show you a Ram W.
That just sounded wrong.
Hey, Cole.
That's the point.
Hey, Cole.
That's what she said.
Hey, Cole. Just for that, Cole.
What?
Just for that, I'm dunking on your ass in Madden after this game. After this show is ended.
No, actually, I'm getting McDonald's right now.
I do not care.
So, okay, this leads into the final thought segment. There's 2 things this week that actually there's 3 reasons why I'm picking the Raiders to beat the Broncos. One, my gut is telling me to do that. Two, the Raiders have won both games in the past 4 years. Past 2 years, they've won both games. Three, I have gotten every single Denver Bronco game so far. So if I pick the Raiders, hopefully the Broncos pull off the win.
I'll show you, Bronco.
Does Cole get more and more cringy every time we record this?
Yes.
Or is it just me, Nate?
Logan, what's your final thoughts?
My final thoughts. So I recently started looking at Super Bowl tickets in anticipation for the Jaguars receiving the Lombardi Trophy.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to stand a chance.
It's time to start preparing ahead of time.
Maybe 10 years ahead of time.
And, Logan.
What's that?
Actually try showing up on time for once. Like, come on, now. You didn't show up on time for my... Oh, wait, that was me for my podcast. But the time on this show, Nate, he never once showed up on time. And you know what we do to people who don't show on time, right?
You wait patiently.
No, we give them an ass beating.
Really?
A beating so big. Hey, Nate.
Hey.
We're going to go to intermission. Nate, we're going to go to intermission as soon as I'm done eating my McDonald's. I would like for us to string Madden tonight.
And do the power rankings then?
Yes!
I see what you're doing.
So, little bonus episode tonight. What do you think, Logan?
Oh, I'm down.
Okay. I'm okay with that. But okay. Let's save that whole thing after in what was it? I have to count the weeks now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 or so weeks. You know what? December 18th, the Jaguars playing the Dallas Cowboys, 10 a.m. Pacific time. So I have a feeling that maybe the show should do something special for that.
Actually, me and Logan might be at the physical game.
Yeah, me and Cole are actually going to that game.
Because I don't think we were going to be able to do a... Well, actually, that's something that we should probably talk about over the phone. Because what happens earlier is the Broncos and Jaguars game. And since you're a Jaguars fan, I'm a Broncos fan. But this runs into one problem. Jaguars play the Broncos 6:30 a.m. in the morning. But anyway, we'll talk about that over the phone.
All right, just so you know that my McDonald's is going to arrive between 11:47 to 11:57. Okay. So at around 12:30-ish my time or 1, let's do Madden.
Okay.
What do you think, Logan? Late night episode.
Late night episode all the way. Let's do it.
Let's go, bitches. Oh, wait, we're still alive. You might want to end it.
Yeah.
Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the diamond in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports all plays.